Mark Larson Show. Good to have you with us here. Happy to be joined by our friend Star Parker. One of the names on the short list when mentioned by anyone, speaking of national black conservative leaders. She's the founder and president of the Center for Urban Renewal and Education, CURE. You can find out more at starparker.com. Center for Urban Renewal and Education is a nonprofit think and do tank. Not just think, they do. Based in Washington, D.C. It's all about a mission of addressing issues of culture, race, and poverty from a Judeo-Christian conservative perspective. So, Star, good to have you back here as always, my friend. This would seem to be your season to now go, all right, finally, everything's aligned, and we can get some things done in Washington, D.C. You're right there in the heart of it. And yet, of course, on Capitol Hill, if you say good morning, Charles Schumer will hold a press conference to say it's not a good morning and blame you for something, right?
That's about right. But we're ignoring them. I'm one that said it's like living next door to an airport. After a while, you don't hear the planes. We do have work to do. For anyone that's ever been critical of what are those think tanks in Washington doing? Well, yeah, we've been thinking for years, preparing. It's sort of like baseball. A preparation is much of it. And then one day you get a chance at the bat. And you're right. This president has made a determination that he is going to fix these inner cities. This president is an entrepreneur. This president is very narcissistic and doesn't rest until he gets done what he has set to do. And he has said, I'm going to fix them. 8% of blacks voted for him after he said, I want to fix your inner cities. What do you have to lose? Only 8% voted for him. But again, in his inaugural, he said, I'm going to do this. And then before the Congress, he said it. So, yes, at CURE, we are extremely busy right now.
So, of course, he's got to get on the ground and get that happening everything's an A priority. I mean, you got to, if you're objective, even the Trump haters have to sit back and go, man, that's a thankless job because, again, you made a lot of promises. So you got to do what you said you'd do, and you got to do it quickly. So it's rolling out moment by moment. But you and I both know, Parker,
Mark,
that...
Wait, Mark. No, they're actually more in panic because what the left does know here, and you mentioned Schumer, is that the preparation has been done. No, it's not going to be that difficult to start rolling out and getting ourselves together. That has been the role.
Well, I'm just talking about the agenda. You know, that's like if you prioritize, you got some A priorities, B priorities. It's all A priorities. That's what I mean.
That's right. That's exactly
but we've had the war on poverty since Lyndon Johnson back in the 60s, LBJ. So we're going to help. And he, of course, made comments that no one wants to report about. Well, I'll clean up the way he said it because he used the N-word about how the African Americans will vote for Democrats like forever if we do this. That was part of the behind-the-scenes deal. Well, now trillions and trillions of dollars later,
22 trillion.
Horrible. I mean, you look at that, and they want more money on the left to do more of the same things. You got the murder rate in Chicago, for example, is off the chart. And every time Trump mentions that, they say, well, it's not as bad in other cities. You know, it's often that, well, okay, fine. But that city with Rahm Emanuel, with the policies that extend from the old Great Society with LBJ, they're not working. So if Trump can even start making some progress, it should be huge, as he would say, right?
Well, absolutely. Where we're looking first is how to create jobs in these hard-hit communities. What liberals and Democrats have done over time is put regulations in place and taxation in place that keeps business from the most difficult communities or zip codes in our country. So we have to peel back a lot of that. Some of it he can do through executive order, taking on environmental policies, Americans with Disability Act, and many other places that are in the way of progress in our most hard-hit communities. But there are a variety of things, and CURE has been working on a 5-point plan, action plan, for the last 10 years. And now we're at the place where it could actually get into law so that we can fix these inner cities. You're absolutely right. That war on poverty has created enormous moral and economic challenges in the communities where we should care. The murder rates are just one of those places that we should be concerned about, and the dilemmas that it's created. Having a very large, chronically poor portion of the population is not healthy for them. It's certainly not healthy for the country, and it's the economic costs and the human costs are tremendous. So yes, we're focusing a lot of time and attention on fixing that. Everyone now has whatever space they've been training in or thinking about or preparing. What would we do if we could? All of those initiatives are now coming to what you're calling the A ground.
A priorities.
Start putting in place right now because we only have a very short window. Most of these Democrats are already thinking about re-election, 2018. So, yes, you're right. It's busy.
Some of it's the same old.
A lot of distractions, a lot of noise in the news. But I just want to assure your listeners, we're getting work done as well.
And you are. And having seen the headquarters there, what you're doing, I mean, you're tireless in fighting the good fight. Star Parker with us. You can find her at starparker.com, making a difference in America's communities and really doing tangible things to help those who have been really abused by politicians for years by saying, here, we'll just keep you, as you would say, on the plantation. You wrote a book about that, just about how, it's trapping. It's trapping in local schools where you can't get out, and throw money at it and then hope that those people vote for you to have more of the same. I mean, let's face it, Barack Obama didn't do any favors for African-American young people, young men especially, if you look at inner city numbers.
What's most disheartening is that we have 45 Congressional Black Caucus members who are making sure they stand in the way of any and all initiatives that would actually help their districts. And as well, the black machinery, that black establishment that insists that any African American that says maybe we could do a little bit better, maybe we should have some sit-down meetings and explore new ideas for how to energize our communities, they're ostracized. Anyone that just dares to even meet with the president is now put on the X list. So that's the biggest challenge, is that there's a hard black established left that has been in place for 50 years, and so it's very difficult for us to get the truth out, first of all, what this administration is working toward, but secondly, that they're setting up these obstacles so that we wouldn't be able to get it done.
Star Parker with us here on the Mark Larson Show. I just came to realize, you and I talk because and a lot of people understand your story, or if they've gone to starparker.com, but there's a whole new generation that only knows Barack Obama as president. They don't remember 9/11 in terms of institutional experienced memory. They think this is as good as it gets. Your story, I think, needs to be told in kind of a Reader's Digest version here, so that people understand the credibility you have. Because often you'll hear from the left, well, Star is she's conservative. What does she know about this? You were in the system. You were working the system, basically, as a welfare princess.
Well, a princess now.
Yeah, I wanted to upgrade you.
You're right. I had to leave the lie of the left and got caught up in all of the activities that we're now seeing on the evening news, from criminal to drug to sexual to abortion to welfare state living. And it wasn't until a Christian conversion that I was able to really get a hold of my life, change my life, accept the Lord to guide my life, get a degree, start a business, and now a major player here in Washington, D.C. That said, others can do the same. What we have to do is establish an environment for them to do it. When you think about that young generation that you just mentioned, that all they know is the last 8 years, they came into adulthood during those political failing promises. What they also know is that they want education for their children. This is why Betsy DeVos said education is important. They also know that they don't like being trapped in ghettos. That's why Ben Carson over at HUD is important. What they also know is welfare policy is not helping them. I'm so glad Ben is going on a listening tour, because what he's going to hear when he goes into all of these HUD-controlled, Section 8 manipulated communities is how they want to escape. What do we need to do to get saved is what the people are looking for. So we have to go around the leaders and get that information, and we do have some real quality people. Tom Price over at HHS in charge of all of these welfare programs. Perhaps we can get plans that Paul Ryan has been working on for the 18 years he's been here, actually implemented in law, which means that the states get to control what happens in their local environments. These are block grant initiatives to say, what is Washington doing this work in the first place, or even trying to? You mentioned the $22 trillion that has been put into these anti-poverty programs. It's $900 billion a year, a quarter of the budget.
For more of the same and more of the trapping and poverty and all that. Well, that's why CURE is important.
So it all changes. It all changes.
That's right. That's why Star Parker's work is so essential. And if you're looking to support people who are getting the job done, go to Star Parker's website, starparker.com. It'll link you over to urbancure.org as well. Center for Urban Renewal and Education. No better place to park a few dollars, or maybe a lot of dollars, to help make that happen. Hey, Star, we'll talk to you soon. Keep up the good fight. Stay safe. Thank you.
And you keep up the good fight well.
All right, God bless.
As well, Mark.
All right.
Make sure that people still know the truth about what we are doing here in Washington. Get beyond all that noise and all those. Pretend you live near an airport.
And just ignore the noise and just keep on working hard. All right, God bless you. See you, buddy. Appreciate it. More coming up. Mark Larson Show.